Like a number of classes, the samurai gets access to an animal companion, and that is not a feature that you should discount. Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. Back from the break over the Memorial Day weekend, ready to get back at it and bring you the next episode for the first edition Pathfinder Samurai, today talking about your animal companion, which, for most samurai builds, will probably serve as a mount for at least a portion of the campaign, but is still going to be an extra and useful tool and ally upon any battlefield and possibly a variety of other encounters. But before we get into everything today, if you're new here to the channel, go on down there, hit the subscribe button, and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Or if you've already gone on ahead and listed yourself on such an incredible roster of legendary heroes, then go on down to hit the like button and share the video far and wide. But now let's actually get into the subject at hand today and start talking about your animal companion. So, getting an animal companion nets you an extra bit of hit points, positioning, and damage on the battlefield. That advances as you level up. Like many other classes, such as the Druid and the Cavalier, you get a pretty good progression on this. However, note that for classes like the Ranger, you get your animal companion coming in at a reduced rate, as if you were a Druid of about 3 levels lower or so. So that's something to bear in mind there for those classes, but for Samurai, again, you're just on that full progression track like the Druid gets. They get 2d8 plus their Constitution modifier in hit points at first level. Their base attack starts at a +1 at level 1 and ends at a +12 by level 20. Now, they don't get multiple attacks for having a high base attack bonus. They get 1 skill rank per hit dice and 1 feat. No natural armor or strength and dex bonus at first level, and 1 bonus trick. You get intelligence to 3 for access to more skills, feats, and less need to give direction. So what that means is once your animal companion is at an intelligence of 3, they're able to understand and communicate better, and they get these other bonuses that come up. Animal companions have great fortitude and reflex saves, but they do have poor will saves like other animals, so they will be vulnerable in that regards. So already they are going to be a cut above their baseline counterpart versions. More than that though, your animal companion will come with a number of abilities that they unlock as they advance along with you. Starting at level 1, they pick up Link. Handle Animal is a free action, push move, +4 Handle Animal bonus. Share spells, although that's not applicable in the case of the Samurai and several other non-spellcasting classes. But then level 3, they get Evasion on reflex save for half damage, take no damage on success. So if they fail, they take damage still, but they still at least will eliminate a lot of damage that would otherwise come their way. Then at level 4, 9, 14, and 20, they get ability score increases that you're able to apply as you see fit. Then level 6, they pick up Devotion, which provides them a +4 morale bonus on will saves, which is, again, the weak point that most animals have. So that's going to be incredibly handy, and this is versus enchantment, spells, and effects, which are going to be one of the more common things that target them anyways. So all the way around, really great stuff for them to have. Then level 9, they pick up multi-attack as a bonus feat if the animal companion has 3 or more natural attacks. If it doesn't, it gets a second attack at a -5 penalty for its primary natural weapon. So depending on what your mount is, you can end up with a lot more options. And remember, for a small size samurai, or any class that gets a animal companion for that matter, you're unlocking mounts like wolves, large dogs, and then for medium-sized samurai, you're getting horses and camels, although there is a caveat that your DM is allowed to open up other options for you. So talk to your DM and see what they're willing to let you do. Myself, I would go with the rule of cool on it for the most part. You know, obviously anything that's going to be game-breakingly powerful, I would disallow or encourage the player to look at another option. But I'm still open to a lot of different things, so it's worth it to check with your DM to see if they're willing to let you expand into other options. Then at level 15, you're going to pick up improved evasion. On a reflex save for half damage, take no damage on success and half damage on failure, which just further improves their survivability all the way around. Then when it comes to skills and feats that you get, for class skills, they get the +3 miscellaneous bonus when you apply their skill ranks. They have acrobatics, climb, escape artist, fly, intimidate, perception, stealth, survival, and swim. Acrobatics, perception, stealth, and survival are going to be particularly important for most of your animal companion skill needs. A little bit of swim probably wouldn't hurt, and certainly investing in fly is not a bad idea, especially if you get some of the more exotic options, but still, just kind of play to whatever strengths you feel are going to be most appropriate for you and your animal companion. Then for feats, you get armor. You can select from armor proficiency light, which you actually start with already, and medium armor proficiency, as well as toughness, iron will, agile maneuvers, which allows you to add its dex to base attack and size bonus for climb in place of their strength, weapon finesse, and weapon focus, all of which are going to be great options for your animal companion to have. And given the number of feats that you have that they will have available, most of these are going to come into play at some point. I would say, if anything, definitely pick up toughness and iron will, and depending on the mount in question, agile maneuvers can be incredibly good for you to have. But all the way around, so much of this just kind of depends a little bit, and it should be noted that for this particular build, we are focusing more on being an on-foot combatant, so our mount is going to be more a means of getting from place to place, as well as another body on the battlefield. So the armor proficiency is going to be very, very useful for making your animal companion so much more survivable. Same thing for toughness and iron will. I would definitely say in this instance, upgrading to medium armor proficiency is probably going to be handy in most instances, but again, that just depends a little bit on what kinds of mounts your DM is willing to allow you to have. I mean, you have so many great options: bears, tigers, demigriffs, hippogriffs, griffins. There's so many cool and interesting creatures for you to make use of as a samurai. Or, if you decide to team up with a cavalier, or whatever kind of situation you may find yourself in, you may find something that is more thematically appropriate for the team overall, especially if you all belong to the same martial order. Another thing to bear in mind when it comes to your animal companions, your mounts, whatever the case may be, is that you're going to want to equip them. You're going to have to equip them, especially if they are going to keep surviving. So you're going to want to get that armor, or the barding that you put on your mount, to be enchanted, get all kinds of enhancements for it. Even if it's just like up to a +3 enhancement, a +3 bonus to their armor is going to be massively helpful. If you're lucky enough to be able to give them adamantine armor, even better, so much better in that case, giving them a damage reduction. And then you also have different various magic items that you could have, different magic saddles or reins, or even getting their natural attacks enchanted using the magic fang spell. And then, if you have a horse or another animal that can have shoes put on them, you can have horseshoes of speed applied to them. That greatly increases their movement rate and gives you a lot of tactical options on the battlefield. And then just bear in mind that if you decide to alter the build and go with more of a mounted combatant, then you're going to obviously change up how you equip your animal companion in those instances as well, and how valuable they are to you as a mount. Now, especially if you go mounted archery, there is some synergy with that, with one of your class abilities reducing the penalties that you take when your mount is moving, but that's all you really have in that instance, and that's a very, very feat-intensive build. So just keep all of that in mind as you piece all of this together. But what do you think? Go on down to the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Did you like today's video? Did you dislike it? Let me know either way and hit those like or dislike buttons. And remember, if you're new here to the channel, go on down there, hit the subscribe button, and become a regular member here at the Gamers Den. But with all that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. Thank you all so very much for your time, and you all have yourselves a good night.